What is going on, everyone? Badger here. And after over a year of a lawsuit with Disney and Lucasfilm, Gina Carano has tasted sweet, sweet victory, at least as far as I and many others are concerned. And before we get to the statement from Disney Lucasfilm, and before we get to Gina's own statement, I'd like to talk just ever so briefly about the actual reason she was fired and the lawsuit behind it. So if you read Variety for the statement, you are going to find this, where they frame it as Carano being fired from The Mandalorian in 2021 after sharing several controversial social media posts, including one that compared being a Republican to being Jewish. She didn't, by the way, and we're going to show that actual post during the Holocaust. She was also dropped as a client by UTA at the time. In 2024, Carino filed suit in California federal court alleging wrongful termination and discrimination, as well as a demand that the court should force Lucasfilm to recast her and pay at least $75,000 in punitive damages. Now, semantically speaking, was she fired after posting, or rather resharing this message? Yes. But this message, which she shared someone else, let's not forget that this was in 2020. This was in the height of the mass formation hypnosis event known as COVID and lockdowns. And the real fascists were the ones locking us in our homes and trying to force mandate the jabs. She shared someone else's post, shared this, where it says, Jews were beaten in the streets, not by Nazi soldiers, but by their neighbors, even by children. Because history is edited, most people today don't realize that to get to the point where Nazi soldiers could easily round up thousands of Jews, the government first made their own neighbors hate them simply for being Jews. How is that any different from hating someone from their political views? Right now, you have half the country convinced that if you have a red hat or you vote for Trump, you are literal a fascist or a member of the National Socialist Party, and that you're worse than Hitler. Like, that is what propaganda has convinced half the country still, or a large sum of it, and they are willing to excuse absolute atrocities because of it, including up to the unaliving of people. And that is what this post was talking about. But of course, they try to conflate it and say she just meant Republicans are the same. So it was asinine then, it's asinine now, and it's a double standard because, of course, the real reason she was fired was she didn't change her pronouns. She didn't on Twitter. And before we talk about that, Pedro was able to say whatever he wanted. Pedro and Mark and the men hired by Disney could call us losers and say that we're half the audience is Civil War losers, etc., etc. But again, the main reason was because Gina didn't change her pronouns on Twitter. And so because she put beep bop boop, that started the target on her. And that sharing of the, hey, let's not let the government make us hate each other and do horrible things, that just gave them the excuse. But again, saying it's because of a controversial post, meanwhile, pretty controversial, but you're allowed to insult one side and not the other side. And that's the crux of the matter. And well, thanks to Elon Musk at the time, looking for anyone that had been screwed over by Disney and funding her lawsuit, we now have this. So Gina Carano and Disney have settled their legal dispute. We look forward to identifying opportunity. Yeah, here's the full statement. The Walt Disney Company and Lucasfilm are pleased to announce that we have reached an agreement with Gina Carano to resolve the issues in her pending lawsuit against the companies. Ms. Carano was always well respected by her directors, co-stars, and staff, and she worked hard to perfect her craft while treating her colleagues with kindness and respect. We never heard one negative thing from the actual creatives that worked with her. With this lawsuit concluded, we look forward to identifying opportunities to work together with Ms. Carano in the near future. Well, that in and of itself, they went out and called it all these horrible, despicable things, and she's a bigot, and yet, you're willing to work with her? I guess you were wrong about all those things. Gina herself she just posted this. She says, I've come to an agreement with Disney Lucasfilm at Disney at Lucasfilm, so she tags them, which I believe is the best outcome for all parties involved. I hope this brings some healing to the Force. I want to extend my deepest, most heartfelt gratitude to Elon Musk, a man I've never met, who did this good Samaritan deed for me in funding my lawsuit. Thank you, Mr. Musk and X, for backing my case and asking for nothing in return. To my lawyers who walked with me through this unknown territory, thank you for your wisdom and guidance. I am humbled and grateful to God for his love and grace in this outcome. I'd like to thank you all for your unrelenting support throughout my life and career. You've been the heartbeat that has kept my story alive. I hope to make you proud. You do. I'm excited to flip the page and move on to the next chapter. My desires remain in the arts, which is where I hope you will join me. Yes, I'm smiling from my heart to yours, Gina. And so you can see she's referring to the original Variety article. So there it is. Everyone on their side, the Disney cows, basically, the Leslie Headlands that tried to get her to go through a 40-person Zoom stress call, basically struggle session. And the ones that probably pushed for her to be fired, they're very unhappy right now. Very unhappy. And I hope Gina took him to the bank. And boy, wouldn't it be something. Now, of course, wouldn't really matter, but it would still be funny if all of a sudden that Rangers of the Republic show came back with Gina starring in it. So let me know what you think about all this. Either way, congratulations, Gina. Well won, well deserved. And yeah, let me know what you think about all this. Make sure to like, share, and sub. If you have done that, thank you. If you're going to do that, thank you. And as a friendly reminder, F you, Disney Lucasfilm.
Well, bye.